and welcome to Finextra TV. We're reporting from UK FinTech Week at Innovate Finance Global Summit in London. Kindly joining me now is Valentina Kristensen from OakNorth Bank and her son Leo. Valentina, thanks very much for taking the time to speak with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Good to be joined by Leo as well. So you've had a busy day already. You've just come off a session on stage, really interesting one, and the main question was, are challenger banks, neobanks, still challenging? So, you know, a really interesting question there, but what I'd be interested to start with is where we're up to and how far have we come, say, from 2008? Let's start there.
Sure. So, I mean, I would say there's really no comparison with 2008. Fintech as a term didn't even exist then, and if you think back to, you know, even a decade ago, 2013, you know, the concept of a challenger bank, people would have thought of Metro Bank as a challenger bank, you know, the first new bank in 150 years in the UK, which was coming to market with a bricks and mortar led model, where they were going to be open 363 days of the year, much longer hours, you know, you could have coin counting machines for the kids and you could bring a dog in. Today, if you said, I'm challenging the status quo with a bricks and mortar led model, people would think you're nuts, right? So it's totally different from where it was, you know, in 2008 or even a decade ago. And I mean, OakNorth has now been around since 2015. So we were one of the, I guess, more mature fintechs in the sector, and I've been very lucky to be with the business, you know, since that time, and seen an amazing growth from the business. Yeah,
you've come a long way already. It's been a really exciting space for you. And there was an interesting development recently, which you also spoke about on stage, with Silicon Valley Bank, which has been a hot topic over the course of IFGS. And OakNorth were a little bit involved with that. So can you tell us the story behind that?
Sure. So, you know, we were one of the institutions that put in a bid to acquire the UK entity of SVB. From our perspective, I think we saw a lot of really good, you know, synergies from a tech perspective, and obviously Silicon Valley Bank is a bank that you know, launched to help tech entrepreneurs. OakNorth Bank is the bank for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs. So, you know, anything that we can do to help support SMEs is really, you know, that's the whole raison d'etre. So, you know, from our perspective, that was one of the real drivers. You know, we didn't get it, unfortunately. You know, the bid was, you know, was awarded to HSBC, and totally, you know, respect and appreciate the decision made by the regulators in that regard. You know, we'll have to see if there's another opportunity that comes up in the future. We're definitely open-minded and looking at opportunities to acquire, you know, if there's a good strategic alignment with the business.
Sure, and I think there are quite a few learnings from the Silicon Valley Bank failure crisis as well. So can you run us through what some of those learnings might be, not so much at OakNorth, but more holistically as well as an industry?
Sure, so I mean, you know, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, and I think whether it's a success or failure, you always will, you know, learn things from those. Probably one of the biggest learnings for the industry is the need for diversification. You know, Silicon Valley Bank obviously famously was, you know, the bank that was focused on tech entrepreneurs. And as we know, the tech industry has had a pretty tough time over the last 12, 18 months. So, you know, if you look at OakNorth, we've always lent to a very broad range of businesses, you know, across a multitude of sectors. So making sure you have that diversification in your business model and your revenue streams is really essential.
All right, some good advice weaved in there as well. And just before Leo wakes up, I just want to hear a little bit more about OakNorth and sort of what does the future hold for you guys, and what will your focus be on for this year and the next 2 years, say?
Sure. So just for those who might not be aware, OakNorth launched in September of 2015, got its banking license in March 2015, the third new banking license in 150 years. And our focus is really on supporting high growth SMEs. So those businesses that have sort of passed the startup phase are much more in the scale up phase and are looking for capital and banking services to help, you know, bring their business to that next level. And from our perspective, you know, they're the drivers of productivity, of innovation, of new job creation. So the more that we can help those businesses, the better it's going to be for communities and economies. Thinking about the next, you know, year or two, our focus is very much on helping our customers through, you know, this very challenging period that we're in. Obviously, the cost of living crisis is having ripple effects and knock-on effects in terms of how often people are eating out, how much they're traveling, staying at hotels, you know, and that's going to have an impact on a number of the customers that we support. So really want to make sure that we're a lender through cycle for them.
All right, so watch this space, I have to say. Val, thank you very much. Leo, good to have you on, and I'll let you get back to the event. Thank you very much.